Ms. Rawlings, keeping that in mind, let's move on to the following Monday, July 2nd, 2018. Did you see the defendant and Ren again this day?
Yes, I did. When Schutze and Ren reported to Workspace that morning, they announced to the entire office that they won the lottery.
Ms. Rawlings, did you see Jackie present when they made this announcement?
Affirmative. Hutchinson was present and accounted for.
And based purely off of what you saw that day, how did Miss Hutchinson react to hearing this?
She reminded me of a hand grenade. She was content until they told her that she wasn't a part of the pool. It was like they pulled the pin and Hutchinson exploded. All her emotions poured out. Shock, confusion, and ultimately, anger. That's when the skirmish began.
So in your capacity as the day shift manager at Workspace, did you take any action?
Yes. To de-escalate the situation, I escorted Hutchinson down to the food court. I could not afford to have a soup sandwich on my hands.
If you could use the map that I've handed you in answering this question, did you see Jackie return to Workspace at any point later that day?
Yes, I did. Hutchinson returned using the tenant entrance, and the next time I noticed her, she was frantically searching for something in the cubicle area, and that's where Schutze's cubicle is located.
Well, Ms. Rawlings, do you know if Jackie found anything in the cubicle area where the defendant's desk is located?
Yes. I heard a high-pitched yell from the cubicle area, and then Hutchinson breached the perimeter of my office.
Ms. Rawlings, you can set down the map, but can you tell this jury if Jackie had anything in her hand when she came into your office?
Yes, she did. When she breached the perimeter of my office, she was holding a crumpled pink sticky note.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You're across, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Before we begin, may I ask how much time I have left? Sure.
You have 13 minutes, 48 seconds.
Thank you. And may I retrieve the exhibit I'll be using? Sure. Good evening, Ms. Rawlings. My name is Sean Mulkey, and I'll be asking you a few questions today.
Good evening.
Let's talk about your relationship with some of the tenants at Workspace. You like Jackie Hutchinson, right?
Yes.
You two are pretty good friends.
Yes, as I am with all my troops.
And she's helped you out in the past, hasn't she?
Yes, she has.
However, you don't really like Gabby Ren, do you?
Well, not exactly, seeing that I heard what happened to her pet.
You also found Lane Schutze challenging, didn't you?
Challenging, however, I do like her. She reminds me of myself as a young troop.
Now, on direct, you talked about a conversation you overheard between Miss Schutze and Miss Ren. Let's talk about what you heard and what you didn't hear. Specifically, you heard Lane Schutze tell Gabby Ren they were the only two players for the Friday game. Isn't that right?
Yes, I did.
However, you didn't hear Lane Schutze or Gabby Ren say they were planning to cut Jackie Hutchinson out of the lottery pool, did you?
No. However, I did hear Ren say that she thought Hutchinson was in the pool.
Now, on direct, you also talked about Jackie Hutchinson finding a pink post-it note in a trash can outside Lane Schutze's cubicle, correct?
Yes, specifically in the cubicle area.
But just to be clear, Miss Rawlings, you didn't actually see her find that note, did you?
No. However, I did see her frantically searching for something in the cubicle area.
Well, let's talk about what you could actually see. I'm now showing you as in previously entered as Exhibit 1. You recognize this as a map of the floor plan of Workspace, correct?
Your Honor, if I may reposition to see what opposing counsel is doing.
Yes, that is correct. That is the floor plan of Workspace.
According to you, Miss Rawlings, Jackie Hutchinson was searching around Lane Schutze's cubicle, which is right about here, correct?
Yes, in the cubicle area.
You were sitting at your desk in your office right here, correct?
Yes, I was seated at my desk until I saw her return from the food court, and that's when I got up and stood at my door to watch her.
So I'd like to draw out your line of sight. This was your view, wasn't it?
Yes.
And directly between where you were and where you claim Miss Hutchinson was, these are cubicles, right?
That is correct.
They have 5 feet tall partitions.
Yes, there are security walls. However, they also have an opening where the entrance is. There's no door there.
So you're telling this jury that from your office, you could see through these desks, glass dividers, and cubicles to see what Jackie Hutchinson was doing?
Yes, sir. From my desk, I was able to see the cubicle area. They do not obstruct my view at all. And as you said, they're glass dividers. I can see through them.
Miss Rawlings, even if you could see her head and shoulders, you couldn't see what she was doing if, she was bent over, couldn't you?
Not exactly if she was bent over. However, I could tell that she was frantically searching for something in the cubicle area.
And you didn't specifically see Jackie Hutchinson find a pink post-it note in a trash can, did you?
No, not specifically. However, I did hear her. There was a high-pitched yell, and then she proceeded to breach the perimeter of my office with the sticky note.
Now, you said something on direct, and I wrote it down just to make sure. You said that you saw money with a post-it note on Lane Schutze's desk, correct?
No, I said there looked to be money with the post-it note attached to it.
That's right, Miss Rawlings. You don't know what that object was on Lane Schutze's desk, did you?
No, however, it was probably a post-it note, as that's what it looked to be to me.
But you never mentioned that it was a post-it note in your statement, do you?
No, I specifically said that it was probably a sticky note. That's what it looked to be to me.
Do you remember giving a sworn statement in this case?
Yes, I do.
And in that statement, you swore to tell the truth?
Absolutely.
I'm now referring the witness to lines 136 of her statement. You recognize this as your sworn statement, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And this is your signature on the back, correct?
Yes, it is.
Follow along with me as I read. There was probably a note attached, since that's what people do, but I didn't really see the whole thing to know whose it was. It may have been pink, or that could have been something else on Lane's desk.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I told you. There was probably a sticky note, and it looked to be a sticky note to me.
And the post-it note that you saw in Jackie Hutchinson's hand, that was the first time that you saw that note, correct?
Yes, when she breached the perimeter of my office.
And she could have pulled that from her pocket, couldn't she?
No, when she came into my office, it was in her hand. I don't know where she pulled it from.
But she could have gotten it from her pocket.
Yes, and she also could have gotten it from Lane's cubicle.
No further questions, Your Honor.
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right, you can step down now.
Your Honor, with that, the plaintiff rests.
Defense can call first witness.
At this time, the defense calls Gabrielle Ren to the stand. Please state your name for the jury.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Ren, but my friends call me Gabby.
Please tell us a little about yourself.
Well, ever since I was younger, I've always had a passion for building things. I started with these epic sandcastles. The secret is a proper water to sand ratio. And eventually I went to SCAD, that's Savannah College of Art and Design, where I got my master's degree in architecture. I interned with Yin and Yang Design Studios for 3 years, and then I became a private contractor.
Do you have your own office?
Not at first. I actually worked from home. I'm not really a very social person, so I enjoyed the solitude. Plus, I had Rags, my darling dog and constant companion, to keep me company. Until an accident happened. But I didn't kill him, really. I threw a chew toy and he followed it out the window, and I live on the 3rd floor. But it's hard to talk about. After that tragedy, I decided that I needed a place away from the scene of Rag's loss to meet with my clients and builders and suppliers. So a friend, Lane Schutze, recommended Workspace.
How did you know the defendant, Lane Schutze?
Well, Lane and I had both gone to SCAD. She was a year behind me, but we did roam the same halls and get to know each other. I met up with her in the summer of 2017, and that's when she recommended Workspace to me. I talked to Sunny Rawlings, and she was a bit intimidating, but it still seemed like a great place to work, so I've been there ever since, renting a standing desk.
Do you know the plaintiff, Jackie Hutchinson?
Yes, I know Jackie. She's an architectural designer who also rents a desk at Workspace. She's nice and can be a bit quiet and intense, but I can understand that.
Did you participate in any social activities at Workspace?
I did. Before I came to Workspace, my social skills were kind of lacking. First Monday mixers were always a blast, especially with a friend like Lane who could really work a room. I also participated in both office lottery pools. Now, I'm really not the gambling type, but even so, it seemed like a great way to get to know people and make friends around the office.
Could you tell the jury about the office lottery pool?
Sure, Lane organized everything. She's really great at that type of thing. She would collect the money, keep track of the players, and buy the tickets for us. There were 2 games, the Tuesday Big Bucks game and the Friday Mega Pick. Tuesday was really popular and we had a lot of regular players, but Friday, Lane and I were the only regular players.
Objection, Your Honor. Pursuant to Rule 701, this is whose witnesses improperly opinion as to who the regulars of the office lottery pool are.
All right, your response, sir?
Your Honor, under Rule 701A, the witness is testifying to a rationally based perception under Rule 701.
Objection is overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you know how people usually contributed to the office lottery pool?
Anyone who wanted to contribute would bring their money to Lane with a sticky note with their name and the date on it. And she would record the contribution in her notebook and give the note back with a check mark showing it had been recorded.
Did this system always run smoothly?
Not always. It was really better to directly give Lane your money to avoid mix-ups, but sometimes when Lane wasn't at her desk, people would put their contribution under her X-Wing figure or in her desk drawer.
Miss Ren, did you ever specifically witness the plaintiff give money to Lane Schutze for a lottery drawing?
Yes, I've been there. Jackie's so funny about it. She'll just walk up, put her money on the desk, and walk away without even saying a word to Lane. But Lane's the type of person who doesn't get her feelings hurt easily. She'll just make a joke out of the whole situation. And of course, to my knowledge, when Jackie contributes, her name always goes in the notebook.
And do you know whether the plaintiff, Jackie Hutchinson, was a regular player?
She did play pretty often on the Tuesday games, but she was occasionally short on cash, and in that instance, I would cover for her when she asked me. And she did play occasionally on the Friday games.
Miss Ren, let's talk about the week of June 25th, the week of the big win. Do you remember who participated in the office lottery pool for that week?
Yes, on the Tuesday game, as far as I know, most of the regular players played. Of course, I played, and I know Jackie asked me to cover her, so I know that she played.
And do you remember who participated in the Friday Megapit game for that week?
Yes, to my knowledge, that was just Lane and I.
Do you remember any office talk concerning the Friday Megapit game prior to the draw?
I did overhear Lee Fannin and Jackie talking about the lottery pool, among other things, and what they could do with the money if they won it.
Based on that conversation you overheard, did you think that Jackie Hutchinson had contributed?
Well, at first I thought that she had, but then Friday morning, I overheard Jackie and Sunny talking by the coffee bar, and she was specifically saying that she still needed to contribute to the lottery pool. And it was almost the deadline for contributing by then.
Did you go with Lane Schutze to buy the tickets for the June 29th game?
Yes, it's a tradition Lane and I have to go to Lucky's to buy the tickets and then Riki's afterwards on Fridays. When we got there, she pulled out $20, hers and mine. And I was surprised because due to the jackpot being $120 million, I thought that more people might want to contribute.
What did you do next?
Well, I did ask if Jackie had contributed because I'd heard her talking about it, and I would have been slightly irritated if she'd found the money to play Friday's game, having still not paid me back from Tuesday when I covered her.
How did you find out that you won the June 29th game?
Well, Lane and I were at Riki's when the numbers were drawn, and of course we couldn't believe it, and it was crazy. Lane reminded me that we couldn't have a big reaction because the ticket's as good as cash until you turn it in. So she offered to take it the next morning and put it in a safety deposit box.
Did you announce the news of your win to the other workers at Workspace?
When I arrived to Workspace on Monday, Lane had already shared the good news with everyone, and people were congratulating her left and right, and everyone was excited for us. But she didn't mention who the specific players were to protect me from the limelight.
How did Jackie Hutchinson react to the news of your win?
Well, it was weird. Jackie was actually talking to Lane for once. They don't usually socialize. She came over and she said, "We did it." And Lane explained that she and I were the only contributors to the lottery pool. And Jackie freaked out. She kicked my trash can and started yelling things at Lane. And honestly, I was shocked. And I really would have been fine with giving Jackie some of our winnings, seeing as she was so worked up about it. But I was a little upset at the way she yelled at Lane. And to my knowledge, Lane and I were the only lottery contributors.
Thank you, Ms. Ren. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Thanks, sir. All right, you're across.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Ren, you participated in a winning $120 million lottery pool, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
If that lottery pool were split two ways, you'd receive $60 million, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Let's continue doing the math. If that lottery pool were split three ways, you would only receive $40 million, right?
Right, and that's still a lot of money. I can never spend it all on myself. Actually, I was thinking about it lately, and I thought that I might use some of the money to start a charity called Rags to Rescue in honor of my darling dog.
We can agree that if Jackie Hutchinson wins today's case, that'll be $20 million right out of your cut of the winnings, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. And also, I never joined the lottery in the first place to try to win money. It was to make friends around the office.
Now, you consider yourself Lane's best friend, don't you?
Yes, we do get along pretty well.
In fact, your best friend beat you to the office Monday, July 2nd, didn't you?
She did. She's an early riser, and I like to sleep in, so she usually gets there earlier than me.
You mentioned that she had already told the office about your big win, right?
She did.
And she was being congratulated left and right, wasn't she?
She was. I thought it was super sweet. Everyone in the office was so excited that the lottery pool had won.
Right after that, you mentioned that it seemed like Lane hadn't told anyone in the office that I was in the pool, right?
She didn't tell people in the office who the specific contributors were in the pool, and I was really happy about that because I didn't want all the attention.
And on that Monday, you also claimed that Jackie kicked over your trash can, right?
She did. She booted it pretty far. I didn't know she had that in her.
And your trash can flew into Lane's trash can, didn't it?
It did. Lane's trash can knocked over, and my trash can exploded and went everywhere.
So we can agree that whatever trash was on the floor at that time was a combination of both yours and Lane's, right?
I'm not sure exactly where the trash landed. I kind of wanted to flee the scene, seeing as Jackie was so upset, and I wasn't sure what she was going to do.
But you did in fact mention that Lane's trash can was on the ground, right?
It was, yes.
You claim that if the defendant is at her desk and someone contributes directly to her, that she'll immediately record the entry, right?
Yes, that's usually how it goes.
You have witnessed, as you previously mentioned on direct examination, Jackie contribute directly to the defendant, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And on this occasion, you saw the defendant put Jackie's money directly in her wallet, right?
Right. I mean, where else would she keep the money that people give to her if she's going to later buy lottery tickets with it?
But you never mentioned seeing the defendant write Jackie's name in her notebook, right?
Well, I don't usually stay to survey the whole scene. I trust Lane, and I'm sure she's doing her job as lottery commissioner and recording the names.
And right after that, you never mentioned Jackie handing a sticky note to the defendant, right?
No, as I mentioned, I don't usually stick around and watch Lane do everything.
And in addition to that, you never saw the defendant place a check mark on that sticky note, right?
No, I didn't. I believe I already said that. I usually don't watch Lane do everything because I would be a little creepy, and I do trust Lane.
But Jackie was still in that pool, wasn't she?
She was.
Directing your attention to Wednesday, the 27th, you overheard a conversation between Jackie and Lee Fan, right?
Yes, I did. Among other things, they were talking about what they could do if they won lottery money. The lottery is kind of a topic of lots of discussion in the office.
Right after this topic, you saw Jackie pull out $10, right?
I did. At first, I thought that she might use it to contribute for the lottery, but I was hoping she would use it to pay me back because she still hadn't.
Now, you also claim that that money could have been for Lee Fannin, right?
Maybe, or maybe for lunch. I'm not sure what she was going to use the $10 for.
You also claim that Lee Fannin was doing the lunch run that Wednesday?
Yeah, he's usually the one who gets to get lunch for us.
So you disagree with Lee Fannin. He testified that he did not do the lunch run that Wednesday, right?
I'm not sure what Lee Fannin testified, but I do believe he was going to do the lunch run for us. I'm not sure if that changed.
In fact, you would disagree with Lee Fannin if he testified that he left the office that Wednesday morning, wouldn't you?
Again,
Objection, Your Honor. This is irrelevant under Rule 401 and therefore inadmissible under Rule 402.
Your response, ma'am?
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 402, this is relevant as it sets up a contradiction for Ms. Gabrielle Ren's testimony as well as Lee Fannin's incoming testimony, Your Honor.
Okay, well, you got to tell me a little bit more because that testimony hadn't happened.
Well, Your Honor, I'm simply asking her if Lee Fannin were to testify that he did not do the lunch run, if she would disagree to him because she believed that he did the lunch run, as she previously had stated.
I'm gonna sustain the objection, and we'll let the testimony of each witness speak for themselves.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, you weren't watching Jackie after she pulled out her $10, were you?
No, I was not. I had a business meeting to get to that day, so I had other things on my mind.
And you weren't watching Lane's desk after Jackie pulled out her $10, were you?
No, I felt no need to.
Directing your attention to Friday, the 29th. After work, Lane asked if you would join her purchasing the lottery tickets, right?
Yes, I mentioned already that it's a bit of a tradition we have to go to Lucky's after work and then Riki's on Fridays to take a load off after the week.
And when you arrived at Lucky's, you saw that the defendant only had $20, right?
I did, and I did think it was a little strange. I mean, people in the office I thought would be really excited about $120 million. So I did think more people might have contributed, but I guess they didn't.
In fact, you had to wonder to yourself where everybody else's money was, right?
I did kind of think that, yes.
We can agree that 10 of those $20 was yours, can't we?
Yes,
But you only figured that the other 10 came from Lane, right?
of course. Lane and I are the usual regulars for the Friday pool.
Later at Ricky's bar, which you continue to mention, you picked up the bar tab, right?
I did.
You also asked Lane about Jackie's participation, didn't you?
I did. I asked her about it because it's not like Jackie to not pay me back, and I really would have been irritated if she'd contributed to Friday's game, having overlooked the fact that she still owed me money.
Now, in response, the defendant shrugged her shoulders and said it serves her right, didn't she?
I'm not sure exactly what she said. You see, I was in the back of Lucky's, and she was near the pastry, or she was in the front near the register. I was a bit more concerned with what kind of donut I was going to get that day because I don't usually treat myself to that than what she said. But it did sound something along the lines of that.
Right after that, you heard something along the lines of subsidized, didn't you?
Yes, maybe she was talking about that Sunny covered her for lunch that day. I'm not really sure. She also could have been asking for Chester's fries. They're her favorite, and subsidized and Chester's fries kind of sound similar.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor. May the witness step down?
All right, the defense can call her next witness.
The defense calls Lee Fannin to the stand. Before I begin, Your Honor, may I retrieve the exhibit?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the jury.
My name is Lee Fannin.
Please tell the jury a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from the beautiful state of North Carolina, and I'm the proud owner of a parrot named Tweets. Although that bird can be a little crazy. I'm also the founder of Leaf and Non, and we take care of your pesky leaves. You know, that's raking, bagging, carting them off. All the dirty work you don't want to handle, we handle. We also deliver foliage on demand for those decorating enthusiasts, of which I am one.
Do you have an office, Mr. Fannin?
Oh, of course, an office is essential. I have an office at Workspace. Although I am in and out, I do spend time there most days.
Do you know anyone else who rents a desk or an office at Workspace?
Oh, yes, of course. I regularly participate in, well, actually I help organize the office lottery pool at Workspace. It's a way to get to know my various office mates without getting too friendly, if you know what I mean. I usually participate in the Tuesday pool.
Your Honor, I am now treating this case position as Exhibit 1. Mr. Fannin, do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, this is a map of Workspace. That's my office.
At this time, the defense now asks that Mr. Fannin be allowed to step down from the witness stand for demonstrative purposes.
Any objection? Yes, you may. I'll take that as no objection.
Mr. Fannin, could you please explain this diagram to the jury?
Yes, as I said, this is a map of Workspace. In this beautiful salmon color right here, we have the glass-walled offices. And the most beautiful office, my office, is right here. Sunny Rawlings, the owner of Workspace, has an office here. In this charcoal gray, we have the long-term rental cubicles, and these each have a 5-foot dividing wall in between them. Lane Schutze wants one right here. And the great purple right here, we have the dedicated desks. And Gabrielle Ren rents one right here. And then this beautiful tree green, we have the day-to-day rentals. And Jackie Hutchinson rents one of those.
Did the location of Jackie Hutchinson's desk change since she was a day-to-day rental?
Yes, in many ways, Jackie's a lot like Tweets, you know. You never know where she just might pop up.
And is the location of Jackie Hutchinson's desk shown here? The location of her desk during the week of the 25th?
Yes, I distinctly remember she was here because that was the week of the big win, and there was a lot of fuss that week, so it's kind of hard to forget.
Thank you, Mr. Fannin. You may return to the witness stand. Let's talk about the week of the 25th. Did you participate in Tuesday's Big Bucks game on June 26th?
Oh, yes, I'm a regular for the Tuesday pool.
Did you participate in Friday's Mega Pick on June 29th?
No, I don't usually participate in the Friday pool. That's usually because I'm out of town. Plus, you have to let Lane know ahead of time, and it's kind of inconvenient when you're out of town to let Lane know. So I'm not one of the big winners here. But lucky for me, I love my job. And what would I do with all that extra time? Groom tweets? Please, he doesn't deserve that kind of attention.
Could you please explain what you mean by you had to let Lane Schutze know ahead of time for Friday's game?
Yes, so for the Tuesday pool, well, people generally cover each other, and that's because everyone plays. We usually all go out to lunch, and I get the vegan tacos, and they're amazing. But for the Friday pool, it is different. There aren't many regular players, and Schutze doesn't take guarantees.
So how would you let Miss Schutze know you wouldn't be included in Friday's drawing?
You would either have to personally give her your money, have someone give it to her for you, or you could leave a post note on her desk with your money. But as I said earlier, it is a cubicle with walls, like with tall walls, so you do run the risk of a slick thief stealing your dollars. That's why I personally prefer to give my money to Lane, in person, of course.
Would you know if Miss Schutze had received your money?
Yes, she would return your post note on your desk with her customary red check mark.
Did you ever leave money on a note for Miss Schutze on her desk?
Oh yes, of course. The Wednesday before the big win, I was heading out of town, and as I said, I'm very, very, very invested in the Tuesday pool. So I left my money with my post note on her desk under her Fighter Pilot X-Wing.
Did you do anything else to ensure that Lane Schutze received your money besides leave it posted on her desk?
Yes, I'm very cautious with where I put my money, so I did put another note in her notebook. Honestly, I think it's more sleep.
Could you please explain what you mean by Lane's notebook?
Yes, Lane's notebook is where she keeps track of all the entries for the two pools.
Did Lane Schutze ever confirm that she'd received your money?
Oh yes, on Monday when I returned to the office, my post note was on my desk with a check mark, but I was a little jet lagged and a little paranoid, so I did check the notebook as well to confirm that my name was in there. My name was in there.
Objection, Your Honor. Pursuant to Rule 1002, in order to prove the content of a writing, the original is required, and the page of the notebook Mr. Fannin is referring to is not present in court today.
Your response, ma'am?
Your Honor, this is foundational information, so they may enter the notebook in just a moment with Mr. Fannin.
All right. Objection is held. We'll see where we go with it.
Yes, Your Honor. Could you please finish explaining your answer, Mr. Fannin?
Yes, my name was in there, and because I was curious, I did check back to the Friday to see that Jackie's name was not in there.
Your Honor, I am now retrieving the previously marked as Exhibit 5 and showing opposing counsel Exhibit 5. Mr. Fannin, do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, this is the page of Lane's notebook.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense now offers Exhibit 5 in evidence. Its authenticity has been stipulated. Yes, Your Honor, I would like to renew my objection to 1002. This document does not include the Tuesday, July 3rd pool, the pool that Mr. Fannin contributed to, and therefore you cannot prove the content of the writing without the original being here today. And that page of the notebook is not present in court today.
Okay, so I'm reading Rule 1002. I'm overruling your objection.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I have another objection to Your Honor.
All right, what is that?
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 801, this document contains hearsay.
All right, your response, ma'am?
This document is stipulated to be Lane Schutze's handwriting, who is present in court today and will be subject to cross-examination.
How about that?
I believe that this document should be entered through Lane Schutze, who can testify to the accuracy of the handwriting on this document.
Yes, ma'am?
Your Honor, like I said, it's stipulated to be Lane Schutze's handwriting, and she is here today, and she will testify it is her handwriting, and she is subject to cross-examination.
I'm gonna conditionally allow you to admit it if she doesn't testify and doesn't admit to that, and it's not, well, she'll admit to it because that's stipulated. So I'm gonna overrule your objection.
Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Fannin, do you see your name on this for the Friday, June 29th drawing?
Well, it was scratched out, but no, I did not contribute for the Friday drawing.
Do you see Ms. Hutchinson's for the Friday, June 29th drawing?
Well, no, it wasn't there when I checked, and it's not there now, so no.
Thank you, Mr. Fannin. Did you see Lane Schutze that Monday you returned?
Oh, yes, I did. Lane and Gabby came in super excited. Because they were now like millionaires. They were rich. Well, we threw a little party for them. It was really fun. It was a very festive time around the office until Jackie got there. I think the politest way to say this is that she pitched a temper tantrum. It was very strange.
Did you see anything else?
You see, I'm not really a dramatic person, so I left during all of the drama. I don't like drama. But I did come back later that night to find just trash everywhere. I hate when the office is dirty, so I cleaned up all the trash and put it in a new trash can and put the new trash can outside of Lane's cubicle to be sure that it'd be picked up.
And Mr. cleaned up all the trash and placed it in another trash can, did you see a pink Post-it note?
No, I would have noticed a pink Post-it note. See, my eyes are very attuned to color. I know every shade and every hue. I am in the least business after all.